Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of Filtered Opinion. Today we got Sin and JRock, and of course me, Kitten. Today's episode will be about accountability, ego, and pride. Uh, just in my experience, man, it's a lot of people in this world that have an issue with the word accountability and being able to take it and knowing what it really means, and knowing what it looks like, and then just your pride or your ego getting in the way, so it makes it even harder for accountability to be had. So we're gonna talk about it today. Let's get right into it. I guess the first thing we need to identify is what accountability looks like. So, J-Rock, I'll start with you. So, in your opinion, what does accountability look like to you?
Uh, it would be basically upholding your responsibility of something that you are attached to, regardless of what it is or the circumstances being held, understanding that you know the consequences as well as the rewards of what you're doing and what you are attached to.
Okay, okay. What about you, Sam?
So I can kind of pull from all of that. It's not just saying, my bad to move past it. It's really acknowledging how you made that person feel, or how that person made you feel, and what can you learn from it? How can you move towards a solution? Even in that uncomfortable moment, right? Still pulling and not taking away from their feelings, but still treating everything as valid statements and not as personal attacks, in my personal opinion.
All right, so just basing it off of what he said, what Gerard said,
Hmm.
what Sin said. Um, I fall somewhere in the middle because I don't always even equate it to being about necessarily feelings, but I also think it is important to acknowledge if you have hurt somebody's feeling or, you know what I'm saying, stepped on some toes or whatever the case may be. And just as a disclaimer, me acknowledging that I may have did something does not mean that I'm apologizing for it. I just acknowledge that I did it. So,
Right.
but I think accountability just starts with being able to accept ownership of what your part of the problem may be, whatever that issue is. So I think it starts with owning up to whatever that situation is. So it can be something as simple as uh you stepped on my shoe. You may whether you may have meant to step on this shoe or not, like owning up to the fact that hey, I did in fact do this
Yeah.
is where the accountability starts at. So I think just to piggyback on what y'all was saying, I would say that just based on that definition, that a lot of the times accountability is ducked or avoided in most situations and circumstances. Would y'all agree?
Oh, fully.
Yeah, I agree.
What do y'all think is the leading cause to that though? Like, what do you think is the reason for that most people try to avoid accountability?
I personally just feel like people have a problem admitting when they're wrong. Just not even that it's a flaw or a character trait that they, struggle with, but they really just don't know how to admit they're wrong sometimes. Sometimes they just, you know, can feel the accountability. They can, process the apology, but you can never get them to say, hey, you know, I might have messed up on that one. Hey, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, or hey, I'm sorry I stepped on your toes. It's I'm on the defense. Oh, I ain't do that. Or I ain't see your foot right there. Oh, never mind. You didn't see my foot being there. You stepped on it. I'm telling you, I felt you stepping on my toe. Like, just acknowledge you stepped on my toe and apologize. I personally feel like, accountability always kind of comes with an apology, but we can talk about that later too.
What about you, Jared?
Um, but I feel like maybe most people probably deal with, well, they can't handle the pressures of being responsible for whatever it is that they're supposed to be held accountable for. It's like, for an example, it could be someone being a chaperone over kids. You know, you're supposed to be responsible for those kids. You are being held accountable for those kids. But everyone can't deal with the pressure depending on the situation of, you know, like I said, certain situations of where they are being held accountable. So, I mean, everyone's different. Some people can't deal with the pressure of being held accountable on certain levels.
That's an interesting take. You said that it's a few words that stuck out to me. Pressure. Um,
I love
I
how you
guess
break
it's
this stuff down and just analyze though. Go ahead.
cause like I listen, man, and for me, like as somebody who, you know what I'm saying, at one point in my life I may have struggled with accountability and being able to understand or even admit to me being wrong about certain stuff.
Yeah.
When I hear people use words like pressure or um it sounds more like a character flaw.
Yeah.
So like when we're talking about these things and we're discussing these things, me personally, as the person I am today, I'm not giving you a pass because you can't admit that you're wrong. I'm not.
Yeah. I don't feel that's warranted.
But at the same time, I can understand and be like, okay, you still have some room to grow. But I'm not giving you a pass. Whereas I'm just gonna just acknowledge it and just move on. It's more so I'm gonna be like, okay, so that's what you like. All right, cool. And I understand it now. So like when y'all are face to face with that, like what is y'all response?
Face to face with accountability.
Either you having to take accountability or someone else refusing to take accountability? Like what does that look like for you in today's time for you?
Um, so of course, I'm human, right? So I might
Yeah.
not take accountability straight off bat. It might take me a minute to sit with it and just be like, you know what, man, you probably could have handled that differently, or maybe you didn't have to say it like that. Maybe your delivery was a little off, maybe your tone was a little escalated. So sometimes
Right,
it
right.
takes me a little minute to sit with it, and then I realize, okay, well, here's where I was wrong. And I'm able to go back and either make those corrections that I need to later at a later date, because it's never right away. I ain't gonna hold you. I've never just been. I mean, maybe something minor, like stepping on somebody's foot or something. But if I'm
Mm,
in actual dialogue with a person and
mm.
but it's the for me.
Because
um,
I'm just listening and I just
I just know when your therapist mind get to running, you be
hey
diagnosing it in
man,
your head, and I don't like that.
cause I'm just sitting back and I'm listening and I'm thinking I'm like.
Yeah.
We at a big old age now, you know what I'm saying? So
Hey,
life is short. People are passing away every day.
what they gotta do with stuff?
Because
What they gotta do
because now
with
I so you wronged me on Tuesday. I died on Wednesday afternoon and you knew that you wronged me on Tuesday. Now you gotta live with the fact that you couldn't just come out and be like, you know what? I was wrong.
No, I ain't gotta
Because
listen
they
to it.
yes you do.
No, I don't.
Because based on what you're saying, your pride and your ego is guarding you away from being able to come back to that person and being like, you know what, I was wrong.
But I don't think that's something that I would have to live with. I mean, if you so happen to die on Wednesday, that's God's plan, right? And so,
Yeah, So,
God have mercy on
so,
your soul. I wish,
so,
things wouldn't have ended like that, but I ain't gotta live with it. I'm just gonna leave it.
so you saying basically God took away your accountability from you?
God might have took away that stress from me. Nah, I'm just
That's crazy work.
I
That's crazy work.
I'm
That
it's
is
awful. I'm gonna have
crazy.
to edit that out. People gonna think I'm a little button
No,
head.
don't edit nothing. Leave that in there. They need to hear you say this bullshit. What about you, JRock?
I mean, for me, I don't have a problem with being accountable. Like at some point throughout your years of of maturing, it should come more easily
mm,
to be held
mm,
accountable. It should become more easily, more easy to be able to apologize or whatnot. And I feel like I've done enough wrong in my life, and that's why I have to apologize. Apologizing now is not a problem. I feel like if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think what may be the problem between both and being wrong and right is having an understanding. I think that what separates the difference.
mm. Pittman, do you think like you have a problem? Well, I know you don't, but do you ever think that you struggle with taking accountability like instantly?
Oh, I have more of a problem taking accountability when it becomes more about my tone than what I said. Because I know me personally, I know my tone ain't always the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because then but for me, what it feels like for me in that moment is you're trying to duck accountability by pointing out how I said something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But nah, so I would say, yeah, that's a flaw of mine that it's hard for me to acknowledge those things in the moment. Like, and I'll come back and I'll be like, you know what? I meant what I said, but I didn't have to say it that way. Like, I might have meant that your bro was thinking and I didn't want you in my face at that time, but I could have said it a different way.
I ain't have to call you a stank my whole yeah. I
You
see.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I see
Yeah,
that.
like, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that's the reality for me. Like, I've become, or I'm trying to become more conscious of how I say things because of the fact that majority of the time I'm blunt and I'm gonna just say whatever it is, it causes problems or it
Yeah.
can cause problems. So if I can just work on my tonality or the wording that I use, I think it'll be less about my tone and more about what I said. But because I'm not at that point yet, that's where I feel like the problem comes in there. Your focus is more on, well, you raised your voice at me or you yelled at me or
Yeah.
you said it in this tone. And that's a problem that I've noticed that I've been told before.
Do you think our tone, I guess, makes us less receptive to be liked or, have those valuable friendships or relationships? Or do you think people can just live with
Could you repeat that for me?
it?
Because I want to make sure I
Turn on
heard
your listening
everything in the
ears.
correct. Yeah. Because
I said, do you think our tone basically makes people not like us? Like, can you not like a person based off of the way they communicate? For instance, hypothetically. Well, now we ain't even gotta say hypothetically. So the way that I communicate, right? And this is just put aside like us knowing each other, like just if you was just meeting me, would you think that would make me, I guess, more of a bitchy? Would you be skeptical to kind of build a friendship, or would you just be like, let me try to give her a chance. Let me see.
nah, because people communicate how they know how to communicate, right? That doesn't give you an excuse or an out or nothing like that. But I think it just boils down more to how you respond to things is more so the issue, right? So, for me,
Mm.
just in my opinion, nah, it wouldn't bother me how you spoke, unless you being like directly disrespectful. Like I'm not gonna allow you to disrespect me. But
Yeah.
like just because of how you your tone or how you say something, you know, that wouldn't necessarily affect or bother me. It would be more so just about, are we being respectful or are we being disrespectful? Because we can take it where we need to take it. But
Well, okay, maybe I probably worded that wrong. Just as a person with strong beliefs, or a person
hmm
who feels strongly on most things, being opinionated, as you will
hmm
always say. Do you feel like that complicates things?
no.
Oh, okay.
I enjoy being around people who have their own opinion on stuff. I don't want to hear the same regurgitated tape about anything.
Yeah.
Like me and Gerard is friends, and me and this nigga probably don't agree on nothing.
Mm.
Like it's rare that me and this nigga agree on anything.
Yeah.
But and I'm very opinionated, and he's very opinionated. But I can agree to disagree on most topics. Now, my opinion is still gonna be my opinion. You may not move me from my opinion, and I'm not trying to necessarily move you from your opinion. But if we're having a debate about something, I'm gonna get my point across,
Yeah.
and he gonna get his point across, and that'll be the end of it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be around someone who has a weak opinion, because I
Mm.
don't want to be talking to you, and then today, just an example, I think LeBron the GOAT.
Why you think? Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, because we don't got enough time to go down this road. I
Please.
think LeBron the GOAT.
Okay.
Gerard believes that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I could vehemently disagree with him 72 hours a day. He's never gonna change his mind. And I can give him stats and facts and everything else. He's never gonna change his mind. And I'm cool with that. But anytime that conversation come up, unless we both just choose to avoid having a conversation because we don't have the conversation 72 times, my opinion is still gonna be my opinion.
Yeah. What about you, JRock? You are you more reserved and don't want to kind of interact with that person, or you still gonna give it a shot too?
Uh, I mean, I give it a shot, but a shot is only the interview of what could be or what to come. If you think about it, I mean, giving a shot, true enough, but it doesn't take long to figure out what you're willing to deal with. Like, just say a person with a nonchalant, type of tone is like everything that they say, they have no energy about themselves. It's just everything just seems to just,
Well,
I'm
that's
saying,
wild, huh?
like a lack of
Nah,
energy.
I know somebody
So,
like that for real. I
so
know.
it's like
Mm.
it's hard to communicate with that person or want to communicate with that person, let alone friendship, because that person comes with no energy. Everything is just like womp 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 womp, and you don't. So now, like, you can give everybody technically deserves a chance to be heard,
Mm.
or deserves that shot. But on the flip side, you as a person, you have a choice on what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. And it don't make you a bad person for not wanting to tolerate it, and it doesn't make them a bad person for how they choose to communicate with their tone, like you said, their language. So it's just what a person is willing to tolerate, what they're not willing to tolerate. Me personally, I can't tolerate with a person that just they just have no energy about themselves whatsoever.
Yeah,
And
monotone.
the pick it back off of that. I don't want to deal with nobody that agree with everything I say either.
Yeah, you made that point already.
Yeah, that bothers me. Like. You ain't got no opinion on nothing, bro.
You don't feel strongly about it. You ain't passionate about nothing.
Like, damn, they're like, what is your opinion on the matter?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't like that, and I don't like yes men either. I don't like people who just agree with stuff just because it's the popular idea or it's the norm for a lot
Yeah,
of
like
people.
everybody that agree that Michael Jordan the GOAT.
Well, I agree with it, but it's because I just don't like LeBron. Now don't get me wrong,
That
he's a hell of a
get that hate
basketball
out,
player,
get
but
that hate out your heart.
no,
Get that hate
he's a
out your
crybaby,
heart.
but we'll get to that in another episode. Um,
Michael Jordan there too.
when you seen him cry. Oh, okay.
Sure
Um,
you want to have? You sure you want to have that conversation with me?
I ain't talking about the meme. I'm talking about when you seen him cry, and it wasn't an
Uh,
emotional moment.
he literally went to the league GM and complained about how they was fouling him, bro. Don't do this conversation.
Bro, we are not gonna go fouling and crying. We just not, especially not with LeBron. You know what? Let's move on, cause I see now you're not ready to take accountability.
I'm telling you right now, you don't want to have this conversation with me.
We gonna that'll be next episode. Okay, we'll save that one, cause clearly you've been brainwashed. Um. Okay, so given what we know about tone, right, and the way that we communicate with people, do we feel like we have to water ourselves down? I'm not saying we do, but do we feel like we would have to water ourselves down if it's, meeting somebody new?
Not not meeting someone new. I mean, because you want to go ahead and establish that this is how you is or whatnot to that person from the jump. Again, it just goes back to, like I said, you go ahead and be yourself initially. That gives that person a chance to decide whether or not they want to tolerate it or not tolerate it. But you don't have. I don't think a person should have to water themselves down unless it causes for the situation. Because you can just say if you communicate with a person, you're talking to them, you're having a good conversation, but throughout that conversation, you start to understand that this person is kind of a little sensitive, or this person, they may be this way. This person is the way they talk, they're overly aggressive, and you can hear it, in their tone and how they speak. So
Yeah.
I don't say you would have to necessarily water yourself down just because you meet a person, but over time, throughout that conversation or having multiple conversations with that person, you may do it not to, appease them, but you don't want to make it uncomfortable for a person when you're capable of making it comfortable for them. It's like, that person may not be able to make the conversation comfortable or to speak differently to make it to make it fine for you and them both, but
Yeah.
you're able to do it. So it's just just not necessarily being the bigger person, but being the better person of the two if you can do it.
I like that. What about you?
I I agree with it. Um, and the reason being that I agree with everything you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're naturally or you've heard your whole life that you can be nonchalant or you can be abrasive in how you speak and you care about this person, when you get to know this person and y'all are talking and y'all are whatever the case may be, you can try to shape or mold that into a more acceptable way of being. That don't mean like regular watering yourself down. That don't mean that you're being disingenuous.
Yeah.
That just more so means that, hey, I care about this person. And I know that this person may be a little more on the sensitive side. This person may be a little bit more um this person may be more of a runner that runs away from confrontation. So I may not be able to be as confrontational with this particular person as I may be able to be confrontational with someone else.
Yeah.
And that comes with understanding and knowing who the person that you're dealing with and understand that everyone has their own personality traits.
Yeah. I like how you pieced that all together. You brought it back full circle. Now, can we get back to accountability real quick?
Absolutely, let's do it.
I'm going somewhere with this tone, right?
Come on.
So we know how to, quiet our tone. We know how to take into account this person's feelings. We know we clearly just showed that, right? So why do y'all think it's so hard for us to actually want to talk about problems or want to talk about conflict? Like what's actually stopping us? Is that our pride or is that our ego?
Sometimes it may not be neither one. It may be a fear and not necessarily pride or ego. It may be the fear of the result or where it can go to because of pride and egos. It may not just be, well, we can't do it because of my ego, or I can't speak on it because of my pride, or I shy away from it because of that. Nah, it may be because of fear of where it may lead to. Like, I know for me, just say, I know I would not necessarily bite my tongue. Like, I'm not a person that bites my tongue,
We know.
but I understand how I am. So the way I picture saying things in my mind, didn't understand what you said. The way I picture things, saying certain things in my mind may not be how I say it when it's time. So to avoid it, to avoid it being that way,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, yeah, I may not, I may shy away from confrontation because of that, not because of my ego, not because of my pride, but the fear of me not being able to translate what I want to say in my mind to that person, because how that person may react may send everything that I thought about saying out the door, or or vice versa. So I don't think it's necessarily about pride and ego, which that is the case for some people, but I think fear of what it may lead to, what the conversation may lead to, is also a thing that hasn't been, associated with pride and ego.
Yeah. So fear that it could, hypothetically either escalate or hypothetically change your views of that person. So, oh, go ahead, Key. I'm sorry, my bad.
No. You're good. I mean, that was a good point. I never looked at it or viewed it in that manner
Yeah.
until he said that. So what I'll say for me is my opinion of this is the reason I feel like most people shy away from conflict is mostly based on uh refusing to. So I think this is part of like learning how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you're having an argument or a debate with someone, we tend to listen to reply instead of listening to understand.
Yeah. We're always on the defense instead of trying to understand. Like, oh, okay, let me listen
Correct.
to what they're saying.
Correct. So if I came and told you, hey, on April the 29th, the sky gonna be pink outside, you'll be like, what the fuck you talking about? The sky ain't gonna never be pink. Like, get the fuck on. Instead of me being like, no, it's gonna be pink because it's gonna be a pink balloon in the sky. Blase, 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 blase. Right? Which
Yeah.
is a stupid example, but in reality, when we're having communication, if someone says something that we don't tend to agree with, me personally, I'll be quick to be like, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. And go on
Yeah.
about my day.
Yeah. So should we be more inquisitive on, instead of being, I guess, quick to respond, should we just ask, like your beliefs? Why you feel like that? Like,
I mean, but see, yeah, yes, I would say yes, but I have to value who you are as a person in my life to even want to feel like doing that.
see, now that's if we're let's just say we're being fair across the board, right?
I'm gonna be honest with you, life ain't fair.
It's not. But okay,
So, so,
if you and
so,
I were engaging in conversation, or just the three of us, right? If
uh,
we're all engaging in conversation and I came to you saying, oh man, the sky gonna be pink tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Would you not ask me why, or what would you say?
Saying what the hell you talking about?
But you see how you would ask me what the hell you talking about? And you see how it
Yeah,
comes off so that way it leaves me space to answer. Like, well, this is why I believe the sky is gonna be blue, or I'm sorry, pink tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
it's giving
But
me
even
room.
yeah, it's giving you room. But the next thing that you say, if it ain't something that making sense, like like we gotta be honest. Like if you're not saying something that's finna make sense, nah, bro, what the fuck you talking about, bro? Like you just wasting my time
Get your
having this.
crazy
Like
ass
man,
on.
man, go on, bro. Like got time to hear this something there. I was doing something, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in reality, we should give people the space to be able uh to express themselves. Now, I'm probably not gonna do that,
Why? But
but
why don't? Why? Why can't we? Because I'm not gonna say why we don't, but we already know why we don't. But why can't we? Like, why is that such a problem to just leave space for people to express themselves how they want to? Why does it have to
because
trigger or bother?
because everybody don't deserve to have space to talk to you.
But if I'm saying if I'm your friend, right? You
Hmm.
should be able to listen to me talk 30, 45 minutes about why I think this sky is gonna be pink
That's
and not
indecent.
be frustrated.
That's disingenuous, bro.
Why though? You're not telling me why.
This is a terrible example.
Like
Right, yeah. Okay, well, maybe not 45 minutes on why the sky gonna be pink, but let's just say 45 minutes on why I think Kanye.
definitely not listening to that.
Let's go back somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, there we
Let's
go.
try to vote somewhere else.
What I'm saying is, if I value you as a person and I value your opinion,
Hmm.
I'll be willing to at least hear what you have to say at some point in the conversation. Now, you better use this time wisely.
But why is there parameters on why I have to say what I need to say? I'm your friend. Do you not value the friendship enough?
Yes. And I
Okay.
also value my mental space.
There we go. Okay.
So if if you already know my opinion is that if you're a woman beater, I feel like you should be locked up and thrown away in the pen and get beat every single day. Don't come to me and try to explain to me why, it might be a reason why a man should hit a woman. I don't want to hear that because my opinion is my opinion.
And this is aside, just small disclaimer, men and women out there. This is aside from self defense. But go ahead, carry on.
Oh, because I definitely gonna say now, self defense. He's definitely in the right.
You know, I
See,
didn't feel
so,
about it.
see. I'm not gonna say he in the right. I'm not
So
gonna say he in the
let's
right, but I'm not gonna also say that he wrong.
so you're neutral on it. You just, hey, it
You
happened.
know, I've been in a situation where a woman was putting her hands on me before,
Hmm.
and I didn't respond in the way that people around me at that time felt like I should have responded. That doesn't make I don't feel like that makes me right, and I don't feel like that makes me wrong. Now, in hindsight, I feel like I handled it
Yeah,
the right
yeah, yeah. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
way. Nah, nah, I feel like I handled it the right way, man.
Yeah, if we talk about that same situation, I don't feel like you handled that the right way. But as a man, I can respect as a man, I can respect you for not escalating and trying to attempt to de-escalate the situation. So, but I think it just all goes back to everybody having to be accountable for their own actions, right? If you put your hands on me, I have the right to hit your. Ooh, sorry, I have the right to hit you back. And that's just how I feel about it. Now I cannot hit you back, and I can call the police on you too. Either way, I have the right to take action, and whatever that action may be, it's warranted because you shouldn't put your hands on me. Is how I feel about the situation. But this wasn't about domestic violence. So if you're struggling with that, get some help.
I can't believe you said that I went right.
You
Yeah, you
wouldn't.
win. You win right. You win right. That's you know what? And I wasn't even in that situation, but that kind of bothers me. Mm.
Why?
I'm just thinking because I have a son, right? And so I'm just
Mm-hmm.
thinking if that was my son in that situation, what would I want him to do? And I ain't gonna hold you.
Beat her ass.
Yeah, yeah. And I would have had to bail him out that night. I don't know. Well, we have to wait for in the morning time, but I just mm-mm.
I
She
mean, honestly, with that situation, it didn't bother me that you didn't you didn't hit a woman back that was technically beating your ass. It didn't bother me that you didn't hit her back. That's a very respectful and honorable thing.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't bother me that she kind of messed up your car and you didn't do anything about it. That didn't bother me.
that bothers me too. But keep going.
What bothered me was that after this woman beat your ass, damaged your vehicle, and had the audacity to get on the phone with another man in your face,
Mm.
only for you to leave her and come back and get her, bothered me. Now that there, till this day, like I feel some type of way. Sometimes it crosses my mind, randomly. But now that that bothered me. Like I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but
Ooh,
that
child.
did that did something to me because I watched you have
Yeah.
complete self control in a situation where not too many people could have that type of self control. But the moment you turned around to go get a woman after she did all of this, and we're not talking about you turned around to get your wife. Nope. You ain't turn around to get your baby mama. Nope. You didn't even turn around to get your girlfriend, not a family member, a female friend, like a real friend. None of that. She was none of those things. You turned around to get a hussy. That's what that's what bothered me the most. That this woman did all of this I just named. I'm talking about you had to pull over. You had to pull over beside the road 2 and 3 times. She did all of this only for you to have that level of self-control. Leave the area, with is that what they say? I left the area. And for you to turn back around to get her because you felt like it would have been wrong to leave her. Now that bothered me. I still ain't forgave you for that shit. That bothered me though.
But
Ooh,
but
this
but
is a moment for growth. This is a moment for growth. Let me see how you
so
Nah,
so
handle it.
no. I'm
Yeah.
still like that. That kind of traumatized me. That hurt me. It hurt me because you my friend. Now if you weren't my friend, I wouldn't have gave a damn. I was like that nigga. That's just stupid. But you hurt me. You, you hurt me to see you do that. You don't like. I don't think you. I don't. I can't express it. I really can't.
Hey man, I'm just trying to see if we're able to teach our listeners a valuable lesson in this. So
no no
I'm just
no
trying to
no.
see how Keith gonna handle it. Come on, Pete.
Listen, this is where accountability comes in at, right? This is a perfect opportunity for accountability. We got to tie all this stuff back in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have a problem with the fact that that hurt you. I don't even have a problem with the fact that it still bothers you to this day. I understand and accept that. The reasoning behind me going to do that after everything that happened is because if that was my mother, that was my sister that I don't have, if that was my daughter that I have now, even if she wrong, I wouldn't want her to be stranded nowhere. And that's what was going through my mind.
Mm.
So even because even as a father, if my daughter do something completely wrong, yeah, she wrong, but I'm not just gonna leave her standing at the stove. I'm not gonna do that.
I get that, and that's exactly what I was about to say. She ain't your mama. She ain't your daughter. She ain't your wife.
She a what?
She ain't even your girlfriend. So with that being said, yes, if my daughter was wrong and she did exactly what that lady did to you, and my daughter called me and said that dad, the man left me on the side of the road. Well, what happened? What did he leave you for? Because if you was in the car with him for y'all to get wherever you were going, something was going right, and now something is going wrong. So like, what was the problem? Well, this and this happened and such. He left me. Now my responsibility as the dad is to come get you, because like you said, I'm not gonna leave my mom on the side of the road. As her son, I'm gonna go get her. I'm not gonna leave my daughter on the side of the road. As her dad, I'm gonna go get her. As her husband, I'm gonna go get her. As her boyfriend, I'm gonna go get because she was on the phone with as her daddy, I'm gonna go get her. As her son, I'm gonna go get her. But as a female, just a female that probably not even gonna be around 2 weeks from now, it's no way that I'm turning back around to get you when you just basically showed me that you can have another man do exactly what I'm about to turn around and do. Nope. Because like you said, and you did say this, if that was my mama or if that was my daughter, you would. Well, I mean, I hate to tell you, but she ain't Mrs. Pittman and she ain't Bree. Because if she was, Mrs. Pittman would have did what she did, and Bree damn sure wouldn't have did what she did. So consequences come from your actions.
Yeah.
You didn't think about the consequences of your actions when you did what you did. So, with that being said, you should have helped her learn the consequences of her actions. She should have sat there until that man took 4 5 hours to come get her, so she could sit there and think about, well, did I really have to do that? I wish I could go home now. I still got wait on this man. Hopefully he come to get me. Damn, it's been a long time. Like, you didn't send her through none of that. She
Yeah.
did the utmost disrespectful shit she could do to you and still got a ride home. And she probably texted the man the whole way home like, yeah, this nigga came back and got me. He ain't shit. So that's all. I'm just
Don't
saying,
make it worse for him though. Don't.
that's
Man,
all I was saying.
man,
She
she
ain't
can't
Mrs.
make
Pittman and she ain't Bree.
she can't make it worse for me. It's more so like things like
Man.
that either make you grow or it traumatizes you. One of the two.
What do you feel like it did for you? Did it help you to grow or did it cause trauma?
No, both.
Mm.
Both.
Okay.
Just being true.
Yeah. Well, I love how you took your accountability with your friend. I love that.
Yeah, man, like we don't have this conversation so many times. It's just and even now, I guess I don't understand how that would have hurt him in that moment. But like I can understand what he's saying. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because he made it abundantly clear that that's something that still bothers him to this day. So I don't think you're quite done apologizing. You may have to apologize maybe next week or so.
I'm
Um,
cool with it.
yeah, but we appreciate you leading the way, showing us, how it's done.
Man,
Now, since we just, on the topic of apologies and clearing the room, right? JRock, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
oh Jesus.
Just making sure. I wanted you to be present. Make sure you can hear me. So yesterday, right, we got into a little,
Skerfuffle. Skerfuffle.
what was it?
Skerfuffle.
Yeah, because it went quite a scuffle. It was a little conversation. And I felt like, right, the way that you approached the conversation, because I'm telling you, we getting stuff off that bothered us. I felt like the way that you approached the conversation, it was dismissive to the point that I was trying to make, but also to, what caused that point to kind of boil over in a sense.
Okay, if we're gonna talk about it, we have to start from the beginning because we can't just jump into half of a story. The people won't gonna be confused. Just saying. I'm gonna go back on mute.
It's the moderator for me. Um, but okay, so context for our listeners, our viewers. Um, we were supposed to have been recording at 8 o'clock yesterday. Everybody agree? I want to paint the picture accurately.
Yes.
Yes, man.
Okay, JRock, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we were supposed to start recording at 8 o'clock. Pittman and I were here, maybe like 7:50 something. So we could go ahead and, knock a few episodes and knock an episode out. We hear JRock up like, are you coming? Where you at? Yo, can you say something? And JRock just was not responding. He just was not responsive at all. Until let me not take that away from him. Until maybe 30, 45 minutes, maybe 20 minutes later. Either way, we was already halfway through the episode. So we wrapped the episode, had some little technical difficulties, and so I sent a message to our group or whatever, and I was just like, I got some words for you tomorrow, and I came off and realizing this because I'm going back to look at it. I probably came off in a way that wasn't received as being sarcastic, right? I can see that. But all I said was, let us know what time you are available tomorrow morning, and I had some words that I really wanted you to hear, and that was the nice version of it, right? So he comes back and he says, so it's okay for you to say you're gonna do it, and then when I accept plans because he thinks, it wasn't gonna happen, he's wrong. Now at no point did I ever say he was wrong in accepting his plans. All I said was basically he could have communicated, hey, I'm not coming, or hey, I got this to do, or hey, I'm a little busy, I'm tied up at the moment, and I'm not going to be able to be there. Just simple communication, right? That I would think in my eyes was simple. So I broke that down, right? And men, how they can be, right? And I believe he did this to trigger. I don't
Whoa,
know.
whoa, whoa,
Hold
whoa,
on. You don't
whoa,
interrupt my
whoa,
story.
man, man. Oh, that's
Men.
crazy. You finna start a war. All right, go ahead.
Well, so be it. Because the ladies gonna feel me. But so, classic trigger for a man. They know what they doing. They send that thumbs up. Oh, I'm heated. I'm already on 10. Like, okay. Because at first I was just, I was cool and I was calm about it. But I'm still letting you know, like, hey, I appreciate communication. We have to be able to talk, right? If we're doing a podcast together. So then he goes and he says anything else. Oh, okay. That's really how you feeling. You cooking now. And then he says, because I definitely ain't read none of that. I did send a little lengthy message. It wasn't too long, but it was a little long. And then he was just like, I was at home at 6, and then you started talking about watching the draft. Okay.
I ain't gonna let you lie now. That was a long message, but go
It
ahead.
wasn't that long. It
That bit was
wasn't
an
that long.
essay.
It wasn't that long. It was very valuable though. That's what I'm saying. The content of the message, it was not disrespectful. I didn't call him out his name. I don't even think I cursed in that message. Let me see. I didn't. So I don't understand why it was received as anything else. Cause I definitely ain't gonna read that. And then you purposely sent that thumbs up. He know what he was doing. And I think he just likes to poke the bear sometimes. And then he likes to duck, you know, communication. Can I get apologies since we're passing out apologies today, JRock?
Okay, so before we even get to an apology,
Oh,
let
is
me
there
go.
one coming? I want to know because I definitely don't want to hear none of this if it ain't.
Just wait. Just hold your horses.
Okay,
Put the
go
rope
ahead.
around them.
Come
Put the
on.
rope around them. So this was the thing.
Okay.
The 8 o'clock time was the time set by me.
Uh huh.
So it would have technically, it would have been, you know, a very big issue, especially if I was the one that said, like, let's, 8 o'clock. Let's do it at 8 o'clock. Just for me to not be able to do it at 8 o'clock. So I was home at 6.
Mhm.
I was really home before 6.
Mhm.
And once you started saying that you're gonna watch the draft, you're gonna do this, you're gonna eat and watch the draft or whatnot, I'm like, oh hell, here we go. So after that, the missus came along and asked, do we want to, do I want to watch a movie? Can want to get something to eat, such and such, this and this. So I'm like, the draft finna come on at 8. Saying talking about some she finna watch it as if she really want to try to do it at another time. So cool. Yeah, we could do that. Now once I accepted those plans,
Mhm.
I don't know about you as a woman, but I know as men, once you accept those plans, you kind of locked in because anything else, anything
We losing valuable stuff. Yo, I think your connection.
going.
Can you hear us? Oh, see how it be, ladies.
Those plans. No, I'm just saying. For me to come home,
Oh no,
accept those
we hold on.
plans.
So we didn't hear anything that you said in maybe in like the last 30 seconds because it was going in and out.
Okay. So I was basically saying, all
Mhm.
right, I don't know how it is as a woman, but I know as a man. Once you accept those plans with your woman or whoever you choose to deal with, you basically locked in because anything of where a plan may change after you accepted it with your woman, it usually becomes an issue. I've already gone
Yeah.
all day. I went and played basketball. I did what I wanted to do because you know how y'all women are. You like to see your man around the house at some point. You've been gone all day now. So for her to come to me, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And I accepted the old plan. Down the line, it was no way I could be like, hey, we just gonna have to do something else. I got to do this, especially after Vibe already did what I wanted to do, and had to hear your mouth about me doing it anyway. So it was like, 7:40, 7:45 when I had sent a message saying that, you know, me and KJ we watching the movie, and we grabbed something to eat. So I was telling y'all then, like, hey, me and her watching the movie, and we got something to eat. And this is 20 minutes before 8. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it.
So
That's why I was saying that it was okay for you to, basically give the idea that we may not even do it when I was really set on doing it. Then second,
wait,
yeah,
can we go? But let's work through first because
okay,
it's I just got just a little bit of. Ooh, I got to retract some of this stuff. So you okay? You said y'all was gonna catch a movie and y'all was gonna eat or whatever.
yeah,
Ooh, but you never said. I guess I was looking for the words, and that might be my own fault. But I was looking for the words. I'm not recording tonight, or I'm not gonna be able to record tonight. Instead of, I guess, being hopeful that you would be done by the time that we actually started, or by the time we figure it out. Just
okay, and I get that because on the flip side, okay, just say if I was talking to Pittman and we got something planned, and Pittman tell me, uh, I'm finna watch a movie with Bree. I already know what that means. I already know what it means. That means for probably the next 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
don't even hit them up. We ain't playing 2K. We ain't playing Madden, NCAA. We ain't doing none of that. That's what they use. So it was like one of those things where maybe it wasn't necessarily the lack of communication, but just the lack of understanding. Because maybe, like you said, you was looking specifically for those words. And on my end, I kind of thought that, that's something that you would have picked up on. Because me talking with my guy, I'm telling you, like, if my homeboy say, goddamn, me and Briefing about this TV show, shit, I already know what it means. Don't even, it's over with.
So
Whatever I'm thinking about asking him to do, it's over with. So,
I understand what you're saying, but so is that is because it's not landing for me. I'm sorry.
all right.
So should I somehow think,
Can
okay, just
can I
because
can I
you
can
said you're watching a movie that it's implied,
can
oh, okay, he's not going to be able to make the episode, instead of still looking for proper
can,
communication?
can I interject right here for a
Go
second?
ahead.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to break it down into a way that it can be understood.
Okay.
What Gerard is saying is, once the message came through about you was fitting to eat and watch the draft, and I said I'm sick of you niggers.
Can,
Actually, is what I said, niggers.
can we look at the
Um,
timestamps on the messages just so we can piece it together? So that way,
sure.
yeah. Because I get what y'all saying, but it's still not making sense.
Give me 1 second. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. Here we go. All right, scroll up. Oof, that's still a long message to the day. Um,
You're so childish.
so at 7:24,
Uh-huh.
hold on, wait. At 6:46, you said no excuses, but I forgot it was draft day. We doing eight question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lewis then replied and said, no excuses, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then someone said, I forgot and I'm finna watch it and eat.
Mm-hmm.
So at 7:24, because
And
I
that was at
believe I
six.
was
That was
busy.
at 6:52. I'm sorry, Your Honor. But that was at 6:52. That I
Okay.
said I forgot. I just wanted to point that out as put it into discovery. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's fine.
Mhm.
So at 7:24, because I was a little busy prior to me opening that message,
So
I
you was
said, well, I
like,
know damn well
go ahead.
how if we were recording at 8 o'clock.
You right. You right. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, come on now. Come on with it. I said, but I know damn well we're not pushing recording back for draft day. We don't know these niggers.
You didn't have to say that part. We're gonna cut that
Mm,
part.
we don't. So at this point, Mr. Lewis replied to my message and said, see y'all on the next episode.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't. Okay, hold on. My bad.
Clock that T. Clock that T.
My bad. Hold on. Wait a minute. Because I didn't see that. I promise you, all I seen was the Burning Man, and then I was scrolling down so I could reply. I didn't see his reply on
Don't
top of
edit
that.
this out. Don't edit this out. This is accountability. Don't edit this out.
I didn't see his message. I really didn't see that. Okay, so at 7:26, he said, see y'all on the next episode. Well, shit, you know what, Gerard? My bad. My bad. I apologize.
And
Because
an apology. Oh shit.
Hey, it's a good
I
day, boy.
apologize because I was ready to drag you. I'm talking about, ooh, boy, you touched the nerve last night. I was ready to shake everything in the room. You hear me? I'm talking
But
about,
no. So let me finish. After that,
uh-huh.
now you were right about one thing. The
What was
thumbs
the one
up
thing?
was to trigger you. It was. I do that.
Yeah, I know.
Because I understand. I mean, women are complicated. I know that. And I've learned to understand that they are complicated. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I've also learned about women that they hate short responses after a long paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
yes,
toxic.
I sent the thumbs up.
That's
I
toxic.
did that to trigger you. I definitely did.
Why were you on the defense though? Why would you trigger me?
I mean, I just feel like you the type of person that it calls for it to happen sometimes.
I caused what now? I'm sorry.
That you cause for it to happen sometimes.
What the
So
fuck are we
so
doing here?
Hold
so
on.
I
So
I I
hold on.
I, I sit I
No. We ain't
Now,
finna stay
let
at
me
it.
let me finish. Let me finish. So yeah, I sent the thumbs up. It was on purpose. I knew it would piss you off. I knew it would. I knew that.
Aren't you a knower? Go ahead.
But on the fact of you know me saying is there anything else, and I definitely didn't read all of that. That was for two things: be an asshole, but that was also my way of what I said earlier, fit where it would lead to. Because I know if I read this long message, and the person I am, I like to challenge people a lot. I didn't want to read it, and then now I'm finna respond to this part. I'm finna respond to this part, and it's gonna be an ongoing conversation of being back and forth. I know you're gonna respond to me. So to keep it from going any further, to keep me from being aggravated or aggravating you, or you pissing me off and me pissing you off by us just steady going back and forth, replying to each other. That's why I said I ain't read none of that. Anything else. Now you could have just shortened it and like what you said, good night. Cool. Now we on to the next day. But yeah, the thumbs up was the trigger.
But okay, so can we revisit that real quick?
Yeah, we can.
Why were you trying to trigger me? Because I never, even if you glanced or skimmed at the message, I never said nothing out of the way. What was the words that made you just feel like, girl, fuck you? Like, was it the communication? What was it?
I mean, because the like you said, like we talked about earlier, the tone. I felt like what you was about to say, or what you was going to say after, would have been very aggressive towards me.
It probably would. I give it. I give it. Okay. So
Look at this.
so
Look at
are you
look.
apologizing for triggering me, or I'm just?
Uh,
How are you gonna
you
figure
want
it?
you want the truth or you want the lie?
Wrong road. Wrong
I'm
road.
asking. I'm just asking.
Give me whatever you want me to have.
All right. The truth of the matter is, will I apologize for
No, no,
triggering
no,
you?
no, 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 no.
No,
I
no, no.
don't.
Let me finish.
Okay, go
Let
ahead.
let let.
Will I apologize for triggering you? Yes. Do I have a problem apologizing for triggering you? No.
You got to
So
butter me
since
up to let down.
so listen,
Let the
I
man talk.
apologize. I apologize for triggering you. But now that I have apologized and you understand why I triggered you, I'm apologizing on your behalf because I didn't have to trigger you. But I'm not apologizing as if I feel like I'm wrong for triggering you. I did it on purpose. But what I did, it wasn't right. And now it kind of brings tears to my eyes.
No, it don't, nigga. You don't give a fuck.
And I'm sorry.
You're full of shit.
Can you can you accept my apology, please?
Fuck no. You know why? Because I'm not apologizing for the fact that I said.
All right, then you go.
Hey, no,
Then I'm gonna just send another thumbs up.
I am. I'm extending an apology because I did not truly, for real. I ain't see that until I just looked at that message. I didn't even know you had said see y'all on the next episode. Like I don't, and I'm being honest, I don't drug you
Oh yeah,
all
I'm
throughout
pretty
the
sure you
night.
have.
I'm talking about I
I'm pretty sure.
drug
I'm
you.
pretty sure you have.
Don't do. Give me a little grace, okay? Can we be on a little
Mm,
understanding just for a second? I drug you only because in my eyes I'm like, well, damn, we ain't gonna never get nowhere. Like we can you show
like
up?
he,
Can you at
like,
least
like he,
communicate with me?
like he just don't give a fuck. I know. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
he don't give
yeah.
a damn. He got down. This is so unprofessional. He just don't. I
Now
don't even know
I
why.
didn't call you unprofessional, but I was
Well,
just like,
I'm
you
just.
a weirdo, and I
Yeah.
ain't like it. But
God damn. I went to being a weirdo. I'd rather be unprofessional.
yeah, and you was a fucking weirdo, so you know how I really feel. But yeah, I apologize because I didn't see your message, so I take accountability in overlooking your message. I could have handled that better.
Because you would
Um,
think about them young men on that draft.
I don't like young men. But yeah, I was just, I don't know. I think I was just a little frustrated because I was anxious to at least get an episode where there's all three of us, right? Um, that's all. So you have my
Okay,
apologies
okay,
today. Okay.
okay. Enough of this shit. Look, uh, this was amazing for us to have an accountability episode and have not only multiple opportunities and realization of accountability happen in this episode.
Mhm.
Uh, Shout out to my co-hosts for, sitting down and being able to talk about things as adults. That's about growth. That's about accountability.